Hello everyone, my name is Jason and this is
Monty.
And today we're doing our final sermon and it's entitled The End of the Beginning and it is sermon number 50. And I'm going to start it off today with Ecclesiastes 3:1. And it says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven." That verse is so true today because ever since we've done this there has been a specific time frame that God had originally made out when we started this ministry and even before me and him ever accepted this call. And he had this time frame all already wrapped up, and I think we're just now getting to that. And Isaiah 43:18 through 19 says, "Remember ye not the former things, neither considers the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth, shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness, and rivers in the desert." I think that is so reminiscent of what we're trying to do. Of course, we're ending in the desert, but a river in the wasteland, if you will, has sprung up out of nowhere, and we're just going to follow that down. And Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directeth his steps." I think that needs no explanation. Ecclesiastes 7:8 says, "Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud." And I only thought it would be appropriate to end our last verse that we're going to read, if we're going to sermon. I thought it would be appropriate for it to be the one that we began on, and that is John 1:1 through 5. And it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and out of him was nothing made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not." If you didn't notice, I think that that verse perfectly wraps up our entire ministry that we've ever had, and I think it's very beautiful that it did that. And so I think it was very appropriate for that to be our first verse, and now it's appropriate. It's going to be our last verse for our sermon. And turn it over to you.
This sermon we have had planned for I'm not sure how long now, and the closer it came to the time to do this sermon, the more emotional it got. We preached our first sermon, The Witness of the Light, well over a year ago now, nearly 2 years, and it's just been a journey. If I could, I'd like to lay out a timeline. We started out, a friend of ours, we tried to get a video done in a dark living room, and then we moved on. We had gone to, I think it was Arkansas at the time, to help build up a church, and then we did our first video.
Rest is history.
Yeah. We came through, and I didn't think we would make it to 25, frankly. When I asked Jason to help me with the ministry, he plainly said no. But I believe
After a few times, I finally warmed up to it.
Well, and now we're here. We've told y'all that we were going to end sermon number 50, and we are. But we entitled this The End of the Beginning. Now, we didn't exactly title the sermon The End of the Beginning because of this sermon's message. It was more of the time frame that it happened. Our last sermon, and as he read in John 1:1, this is the beginning of the gospel. And throughout all the gospel, you see examples of how witnessing saved souls and brought back lives. Someone had to tell Jairus who Jesus was before Jairus would have known to go find the Master. Jesus told Jairus, "Do not tell of the miracles you have seen." But Jairus told someone else. Someone would have had to have told blind Bartimaeus who Jesus was. The Bible says that Bartimaeus had heard of these miracles. There was a witness of the light to Jairus, Bartimaeus, to most of the people that God healed. Someone had to have told them about the miracle of Jesus. When Jesus died on the cross, he left us here to minister to others. He gave us a gospel to spread to the world a salvation plan. And as me and Jason, we will eventually grow old, we'll die off. But the people that we have ministered to, maybe some of those will start ministering to other people, and that's what we want more than anything. That when we die, that will be the end of the beginning.
You just watched our 50th and our last sermon, and so now we're just going to go down a list of people we'd like to thank. And of course, I think the first person that we'd love to thank is God for giving us the opportunity to spread the gospel in incredible ways for literally almost 2 years, and helping us to continue to do that in brand new ways that are coming. And so, I would like to thank the team that is Sadie and Danielle, and our newest member. So, yeah, it's been a journey with most definitely our team as one growing closer, like a family. And even though we've had fights and disputes over probably almost 2 years that we've done this, we've always proven true, and we've always came back to one another, and we've apologized, and we've grown together. And I think during this entire ministry, we've sort of grown closer as a family, and I love that. And so I thank them today for supporting us and encouraging us when we needed it, and for always bringing our heads back down and putting us where we need to be. And so I think, and most of all, I would like to thank of course, our audience for being with us and for supporting us, and especially Lawrence 2008 1987, who has been there.
Very first subscriber.
Who's been there since the beginning and is still there to this day, supporting us, and no matter what we do, he's always supported us, so I'd like to thank him individually out of all the hundreds that have subscribed. So, any last words?
I would also like to thank a few people that y'all never saw. For one, our newest member, who we will probably introduce pretty soon. We have not ended the channel itself. We will be adding new segments and continuing with our older segments. We would like to thank a few people who you also never saw. While Danielle was absent, we had a couple of people who would come in and hold the camera for us. One whose name was Aiden would never fail when he came in any time that Danielle could not be here. And a few times, a friend of ours named Michael would come in, and I'm most probably leaving someone out, but several people, anytime they were needed, would fill in that role.
And lastly today, I think one of the most interesting things about all 50 sermons is that now that we have all the sermons wrapped up, we've compiled a playlist of all 50 of those sermons now. And so that means, for reference, for example, let's say that me and him were talking in Jan and Talk, and we discuss very quickly an issue of baptism and is it necessary. And we don't want to get into it real quick, so we can recommend them back to several sermons in which we've dealt with that topic. And I think that's really, really interesting how we got that set up. And it really was never actually our intention, but it just sort of wound up that way. And I think that's just really interesting how that happened. And so, yes, this is most definitely the end of sermons. And I hate to say it, but we were always hoping that sort of on that last day before, God would speak to one of us in a vision or a dream or something and just say, keep going. And so it's become almost something that we just wanted to happen, but I now know, because of the peace of God that has come over me through this sermon and now afterwards, and just knowing that we are in the will, and that peace that He has given us is going to carry us on, and it's going to bring our channel into even greater things than we could ever accomplish. And so most definitely subscribe and keep watching, because I promise you guys, this is not the end. This is just the end of the beginning. So, with all that said and done, after 50 sermons, 103 videos, and I believe 4 hours in sermons, my name is Jason. You are?
Monty.
And we are
Signing
off.